Happy Sunday morning. Okay. let's review what we're going to be doing today. So right now, I'm taking my little Timmy's here. I'm headed for the garage. Yeah, I am. Hang on a second. I need one more hand. Another hand would be good. Hang on. Gotta turn the lights on. Oh, sorry, block the camera. Hey, okay. So, as you know, if you've watched the last two episodes, not counting the Kevin episode, I got Kevin updates then. Anyway, if you've watched the last two episodes, you'll know that we spent both of them in the garage doing door things to that door. And there it is. You see it there? Oh, I gotta get the shameless Timmy's plug in there. I'm hoping Tim Hortons sponsors me one day or something. Anyway, there's the door we spent time on. And what you're going to see today is that door that I bought last week that I spent less time working on and is the one we're going to end up using. So,
is it behind door number 1 or door number 2 or door number 3?
Anyway, when you say to me, hey, Colin, how come I'm watching today's video episode 19, and it looks exactly the same as episode 17 and 18? Well, that's because I switched doors. That's that simple. So anyway, I hope you can join me, and I'm going to get everything all lined up for episode 20. And episode 20 is big move forward on the car. Lots of work, and I got to get over there today and put this new door onto the car so that I can line up other things so that I can actually make an episode 20. Okay. Anyway, join me. You're going to enjoy today's video. You might learn something. Who knows? I don't know. You're definitely going to learn how to make another door. I'll keep that short. I promise. All right, back at the paddock and working on the Bruno's belly. Yeah, I'm working on Bruno's belly. All right, because we don't have any heat over at the paddock, and lots of holes in the car today, and lots of hammering, and it's getting worse, not better. So you just never know with something that's been lying in a field for 9 years. So, I'm just going to give you a quick update here. So I could spend, multiple episodes just going over the bottom of this car over and over and over again and bore you to death. Well, hello. Welcome back to my wee, YouTube channel. And I just want to tell you that I've put the door thing at the end of this video. So if you want to see it, what I did to that door, just wait until the end and it'll come up. I didn't want to put it at the beginning because I figured nobody will watch the rest of the video because they're sick of looking at doors. You know what I mean? Well, I better translate that or nobody's going to understand what the hell I'm talking about. All right then. I put the door video at the end of this video because I didn't think anybody would watch that door. Yeah, I was watching Gerard Butler the other day talking about how he switches back and forth from his accents. And I thought, I can do that. Does that make me an actor? Because I can talk Scottish and then all of a sudden I can talk Canadian. Or I can talk American too, like you Americans say. You do have an accent, And then you good old Southern boys, you got one too. I hear you sometimes. I was watching Landman last night. They all got accents, Anyway, back to my native tongue. Okay, watch the end of the video, okay? All right, bye. All right. back at the paddock and working on the Bruno's belly. Yeah, I'm working on Bruno's belly. All right, so I'm just going to give you a quick update here. So what, I could spend, multiple episodes just going over the bottom of this car over and over and over again and bore you to death. So what I've been trying to do is just work in little dribs and drabs with the regular content to try and keep things interesting. Because let's face it, this is going to take me a while. And it's not a lot of fun. But, it's good to get out here and it's good to get working. And it's nice to see the progress. So what I'd like to do here is just show you what I'm up to today. Let me flip this around. All right. So we've done a thorough cleaning of the trunk floor. And we've sprayed it with, I've been using this. I've never used it before, so I gave it a try. Tremclad Rust Reformer. So, let's face it, I'm not going to get every little speck of every little bit of rust off. I get it right down to the metal, like I have here. It's dust covered, but you see, I still got to go over this section right here, but I get it cleaned up, combination of wire wheel and rust remover, and then I'm going to try that Tremclad as a base coat just to see if it'll slow down any leftover rust. So we've got the trunk section done. It's a lot easier now to see where our problem areas are. Like in here, we've got some pinholes there and a couple there. We still have that bracket to deal with, which has gotten worse. And then we've got the shock mounts, good and solid, no rusting, no pitting, no nothing. Trunk floor up in this section is in really good shape. I know the lighting's bad and you can't really see it, but I don't have any pinholes or anything to deal with there. It's just this area where the bracket goes, back of the gas tank. Stuff gets up underneath there and stays up there. So let's see if I take some of the light out of here. Will that help? There, you can see this. You can see the heavy pitting there. So we still might replace this. We're gonna have to make one. I don't even know if you can buy these. Anyway, so in getting this area done, I decided it was time to deal with this frame rail and see what we're really dealing with here. So what I did was the punky rotten bits I cut out. And what you can see here is that inside it's got that same galvanized zinc coating or whatever that other areas of this frame have. So to be honest, the inside is pretty good. I thought I was going to open this up to giant flakes of chunks and this whole thing was just going to fall apart. So I've cut this area out. I cut this area out, which lost me a little bit of the other side. You can see on the bottom there. And then I came around here and I chopped that area. This is a good healthy piece here. I don't have any issues with that. And then we had this spot to deal with. So we cut that out. And you can see there inside, we're pretty good. The other side of the frame rail seems to have weathered the storm pretty well. So it looks like I'm going to be patching this. We're going to weld this back up because the frame rail replacements that you get for these cars that are offered cut off somewhere around here. So this would have to get dealt with anyway because I don't know where I'm going to buy a full frame rail. I'm sure there's some OEM part out there somewhere that exists. Probably, buddy down at the Blue Oval Barn has bought them all up. But anyway, I'm sure there's some high-end builders that have grabbed those things. So, there's always one somewhere, but I don't have an arm and a leg to donate to get a new frame rail. So we're going to patch this one. And, if I was rotten back here where the shackle and where it joins on and everything, where the shackle goes through with the rubbers, I would definitely replace the frame rail with the aftermarket replacements. But I don't see a point in doing that. To be honest, that rear section is pretty good. This one here is awesome. There's no issues with that whatsoever. That's good and solid. So I think our best approach here is to patch this and spray as much as we can on the inside to protect what's left. And so we're gonna get some flat bar. That looks like 1.5 inches. I'll have to measure it up and see exactly. And we're just gonna run a piece of flat bar through here and then through here. And then we're gonna deal with patching up the sides. That's gonna have to work for this restoration. It's unfortunate, but I think we're kind of on that. We're on that cusp of. We haven't fallen over the edge of the cliff yet, but we're dangling on the edge. And this torque box is in great shape. The frame rail down the front here is in good shape. Like I said, the frame rail at the back is in good shape. Patching these areas here isn't going to have a big negative effect on this. So, and unfortunately, it's what works into the budget. So that's how we're going to approach this. I'm going to build this back up and get it looking nice. Do it properly. Weld it up, and you're not even going to know that those sections were replaced. Anyway, that's where we're at now. So what I'm going to do, now that we've analyzed that, I know what I need to go and get metal-wise to put that together. What we're going to do now, while I'm here today, is I'm going to deal with this section here. So I'm going to cut that out, start trimming that back, and I'll come back and show you where we're at with that. And we're going to talk about where we're going to start our patch, whether we're going to the frame rail. But we gotta cut that out and see where we're at. So let me get at that. All right. We had that small area here at the front of the torque box that we cut out. See right inside there. But anyway, that's got to get patched. We're okay up front. We've got a little bit of a problem right there. I'll have to go a little farther. And then we just cut out down through here. And we just vacuumed it out. And I cut it along the frame rail here. So there's most of the cancer gone. There's the panel I took out. So we've got that. This is our donor piece that we're going to use to patch it. I'm going to cut from there. And here's what we got to deal with on this side. So we've got to take this lip off of here. I'll have to grind that off, grind the welds out of there. And we're going to have to, we don't have any holes there. We've got a little bit of rot right there. So this bracket, probably this one here needs to get replaced. And then we're gonna have to put a patch up in here. And other than that, I think we're pretty good. This rocker's good. The bottom of the doors is good. Got some pinholes here we'll have to deal with. So how far down I'm gonna come, I won't know until I clean this floor up, clean the rust up. We're definitely gonna have to deal with that. That's heel drip that sits in the carpet. On the passenger side here, we're gonna have the same problem down here on the driver's side. We got a big hole down there. So gonna get this cleaned up. We've got some more trimming to do, and then we'll decide how big of a patch we're gonna cut. I can probably, out of that donor piece, get this area here. So I may remove the floor back to about here, come up and go across here, right up to here, and get rid of all of that. That'll expose the frame rail, and then we'll be able to deal with that. And we'll see where we're at. All right, we've done a rough cut. I oversized it and rough cutted it to a more workable size so that I can at least handle it and start marking it off properly. So that's going to work in there. And I'm sure the other side will work just fine down there. So we're gonna we'll bring some sheet metal over so that we can do a small patch there. We've got leftovers from this piece that we just, right now I'm talking out of the side of my mouth because I'm just leaving options open to me. We still have to figure out which panel we have, whether it be that one or that one. Both need replaced. This one's really bad. Shotgun shell. So whatever one we do, we may have to buy one rear section so that we can do both. That might be the option. So we'll get to that part. Anyway, this looks promising. This is definitely going to work. Is it going to be concourse correct? No, not at all. We've got a hole there, a drain hole, that we don't have on convertibles. So, but that's easy. We're just going to fill the hole. So, other than that, the ribbing in there is pretty close to being exactly the same. So, if you look down here, there's 4 ribs, 4 double ribs. Here we got 3 and a hole. So we're gonna patch the hole, and no one's gonna be the wiser. Because what's important here is that it's sound, mechanically and solid, and free of rust. And that's our goal. So it'll give us a visual on the bottom once that's lifted up and put in the right place. Because right now, these stick out farther on a convertible. So, all right, one last thing. Just noticed this, I was poking around. Look at the kink I have in this support here. Right here. That's a big kink. That's supposed to be flat, and that will bring it that way. And look at the kink in this one. That's supposed to be flat, and that will bring it that way. That's why this has dropped down. See, these 2 kinks are pulling this whole rear quarter section down. So those have got to get straightened up. So that's what I'm going to be attacking next. I knew it wasn't my frame rail, and I knew if I just hammered away at it long enough and played around that we'd get to the bottom of it. That's definitely a huge part of the problem, because that fastens into that upper quarter over here, and it's pulling it down right there, because it starts off on this side of the supports flat to the trunk. It's only down a little bit, see? But as it tapers off, it drops a lot, and the whole thing's just getting pulled down. So we're gonna mount something here onto the frame rail, and we're gonna put a bottle jack that way, and we're gonna push that quarter back up as we hammer these two kinks out. That's what we're gonna try first anyway. I don't want to have to remove these and straighten them on a bench and then weld them back in. We may get to that, but we'll see. Body Shop 101. This is what happens when you're dealing with an old car like this. It slowly releases all its mysteries and past. Reminds you of something else, doesn't it? Oh, okay, I'll stop right there. I'll only get myself in trouble. Yeah, that's definitely the problem. Look how wooey that is. Let me get right in here. That one for sure. Massive kinks. It's got a fold in it. That's supposed to be straight. So that's going to make a huge difference. That's definitely pulling this whole thing down. So we're getting there. We are getting there. All right, that's it. Now I'm done. All right. I've been banging away and prying away at this, and I folded her back up. The whole floor is there. It's just crunched. So what I did was I straightened up the taillight panel. It's still got to go in a little bit at the top. You'll see it's curved in there. And it's got to get pushed up. It's got to go this way a little bit. So I straightened out the edge of the trunk door. And you can see now how we're straight all the way along. Well, we're a little too far this way. Here, it needs to get adjusted up, pushed out, and that will push this end in a little bit because it's pivoting on the lock. But we've closed the gap to some degree. But you can see here, the taillight panel, the hole for the taillight is straight to the board. And when you get up here, it curves in. I know it's not going to show up on the phone, but what we need to do is push the top from the inside, push this up. You can see back in here how that bracket is bent. So it's pulling it down. Everything's pulling it down. This damage here is all pulling it down. All right, we're at the paddock, and we're cutting, butting, grinding, vacuuming. You should have seen the dirt I took out of there. Look at the floor. Anyway, trying to decide how much of this I want to take out. So here's the issue. This is really good. No rot there. There's a little bit right there. See it? Little pit holes. That was definitely toast. So was that. So the emergency brake setup and everything's on the other side of this. And I really don't want to mess with that if I don't have to. So right now I'm going to try and take my plate that I've cut down. You saw that in the other video bit. And I'm going to see if I can fit that in here and see what it looks like. And then I'm going to decide if I'm going to go for that little bit right there. So bear with me for a second. Okay, so here's a bit of education for you. This is a convertible. This piece here does not exist in a fastback or a coupe, only in the convertible. So it changes the floor pans, and there's floor pans specifically designed for convertibles that are slightly different than coupes and fastbacks. I think it's coupes and fastbacks. Yeah, I think so. This is just an extra support for the, because there's no roof. So so having said that, if you notice here, these pieces here don't line up. Now this is old. You can look here. This is old stock. This is a 60s floor pan that, you know, they used to claim fit 71 to 73s. But so what? Let me see if I can do this so I can explain it to you so you understand. If I take this right up to that edge there, I still don't line up. Yeah, still don't line up. So those sections there are not going to line up. They're not even the same size. Well, we kind of are. They're just not that sharp. Anyway, I'm going to ignore all that. And I'm going to get creative and do a call-in thing. Which is what I always do. So I'm going to try and slide that under that lip so that when we go around here, let's go around. Let's show you. So what I want is I want that floor to come all the way over to here, which is, you know, the same on the other side, right? This is a flat piece that goes straight up. So I'm gonna notch it here and here so I can fit it under. And then, so let me do that, and then you'll understand what I'm trying to do. It'll make more sense. Look, ooh, yeah, cool. Okay. All right. We tucked that up underneath there. Hammered it in. And right now we're just trying to get, we haven't tagged, we haven't fastened. Don't panic. You know, there's a lot, this has to come back out and a lot has to happen before I start welding. But we're trying to get the fitment right. So, you know, is this going to look exactly like original? No. Is this going to pass as a decent patch job? Absolutely. All right. So, let me show you the other side, because that's fitting pretty good. I had to hammer it up. I wedged the crowbar in here to pull it in tight against here. So it's just dangling there for now. But it's hammered up in there pretty good. And she looks all right. So let's go around this side. She probably has to go in at the top a tiny little bit more. But you see here, now we've got some cutting to do here and some fixing to do. And then we got some cutting and fixing to do there. But I think we're going to be able to get this in. And it's not going to look too bad. Won't be identical to original, but and I just noticed down here, that's been repaired already. Shockingly. Somebody's welded a panel in there a long time ago. You see that? Didn't see that before. And so we have the panel for the other side, so we're going to be doing that down here, exactly the same. And then we have our small pan. Where is it? Here it is. There's our small pan. That's going to go here. And then this one down here, we're gonna cut from a full pan that I bought because it was actually cheaper than the small one. There's the full one there. We're just gonna cut the bottom off. There's no point in running the whole thing in. Too much work and not needed. So that's where we are. So it's a beautiful day at the paddock today. There's the wind blowing, minus whatever. There's the car still waiting to come in, and all the metal that has to go to the scrapyard. And there's the other half of the car that has to come in. All that stuff has to come in to the last bay down at the end, and that's not going to happen until I get that bay cleaned out, and we're running out of time. So let's just hope I get a couple more weeks in where things don't freeze, and I can get that done. Because there's your little, that's all you get. You get a little hint of my 73 Mach that's not finished. Anyway, those aren't the wheels for it. We just stuck those on to get it over here. If you watched, I think the video 3 or 4, you'll see that. But anyway, long story goes with that, and we'll get to that. And there's a winter project coming up, or deluxe door skins that have speaker holes cut in them, like so many others that get tossed because of that when there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I'm going to show you how we're going to deal with that. You'll be shocked. So anyway, that's our insulated room at the back there, where the blanket's hanging. That room's insulated back there. You'll see those walls are drywalled and insulated, so I can put heat back there. So that's where we'd like to work. But it's a mess right now. We got to get it cleaned out. So anyway, we're just going to plug away here. I'd like to get this thing on wheels before Christmas, or at least up on a cart so that we can put wheels on it, because it can't come home until it has wheels. And I think I got to get that 95 over here. Anyway, now I'm rambling, thinking out loud. Can't do that. Okay, it's dinner time. I'm gonna head home. That's all you're gonna get for this week. And I cleaned up my MIG Pack 20, but she's all dusty and dirty. And but I might use the 120 just to tack things in, or I'm gonna bring the other welder over. Anyway. Okay, here's the door we purchased. Okay, so. Anyway, you'll get the joke if you've watched the other videos. This is the door we purchased from Ron last week. Look at the bottom of this door. We've got lots of surface rust, and but look at the corner down here and factory seams and everything else, and she's looking pretty good. I think we can clean this up. Now, we do have a problem down at the other corner. Let me show you that. We've got a little bit of rot here, and the front's cut out to repair that. So I'm going to deal with that really quickly here today. And we're going to get this sanded up, and we're going to shoot a coat of paint on her. Just some primer. Enough to keep the flash rust coming back. And then we're going to take her, and we're going to get her on the car because we've got brackets on here. I don't know if they're any good. She doesn't seem wobbly, so she might be all right. But anyway, it's got the latch in it still, which shocks me because I think it's been gutted for everything else. But we're going to put it on the car because we got to fit the quarter panel. And I guess I'm letting the cat out of the bag. We're going to be finishing up the floor and tackling the rear quarter. Getting the car ready to be... we got a lot of welding to do. I got weeks of welding to do. And I've been at it already. And you haven't seen anything yet, but we're hoping that, once episode 20 posts, we're going to be ready to start putting suspension back on the car and putting some paint on the underneath. So a lot of work though, long way to go, and it's going to depend on a lot of things like temperature. Anyway, I'm yakking too much. Let me get at this, fix this one up, get it ready for going on the car, and then I guess we'll be going there to the paddock. All right. Okay. So this is all we've got to deal with is this little corner down here. And so what I've done is it's misplaced. I took it apart of the old door and I've bent up the edge here to get it to fit. All right, so I got a nice curl to match up with what's existing. So I'm going to scribe that line in, and I'm going to cut that so that I can butt that along there. That'll remove this piece, and then we're going to lift this up here and slide this in to the lip, just so that we're not welding right on the fold. Okay, so let me get that cut out and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, chop that out. And right now, I got fitting to do. So I'm trying to get this to fit in there, like so. Have it come across here. There, fitting there, butt it in there, butt it in there. Coming down here. So I've just got to bend this bottom half lip up. So let me do that. Okay, I've clamped it in. And that's it without any tacks on it or anything. That's just me. I jammed it in. Oh, that was the grinder hitting the floor. Anyway, yeah, I just jammed it in that lip there so we can squeeze it down. Brought it across here. I'm going to have to tap on it a little bit to close this little gap here, but it needs to go up. But I gotta get that end welded, and I'll get it tacked like a couple inches down here, and then I can tap on it a little bit, twist it around. Then this edge here has to get bent down a little bit. But anyway, you get the idea, right? The more you can get this fitting perfectly when you make the patch, the easier it's going to be and the less welding you have to do and everything else. So let me just tack this and get this put in, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, there we go. Welded her along there. You get the idea. We've been down this road before. All right, and let me take the grinder to this, clean this all up, get that perfectly straight, hammer on it a little bit, trim this up, and then we're going to flip it over and put a patch on the front because we got to patch that hole. All right, hang on. All right, ground it down, shaved it off, straightened it up. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna flip it over, make myself a patch, and we should be in business. Okay, just cleaned this corner up with the grinder, and we're all ready for a small patch. And this should be an easy one. Bear with me. Okay, welded her up, cut her off, ground her down. Then I gotta flip her over, bend the edges, and we'll be all set for tomorrow. Okay, there we go. Straighten the edges up. It'll do for now until because this door's got to come off, get completely sanded. All this rust got to come out of it. There's Bondo on here, right here. So we've got a pinhole here we need to deal with. So for now, I might clean that pinhole up, and then I'm going to give it a little spray. That'll do for now. That'll hold it all together nice and straight so I can get everything lined up. And then when it comes time to do the body work and paint the car, this door's going to get a lot of work. But for now, she's all good. All right. There we go. All patched up around the corner. We just did a rough grind and put some spray on it. We'll come back with some seam sealer and make it all pretty. Right now I'm getting it ready so that it's nice and straight. There's the edges are nice and straight. That one needs a little grinding, but we're going to flip it over to grind the front. Just want to get it on the car so that I've got something to line up that rear quarter with. I need the door. Okay, wanted to show you this. I went over everything with a 40 grit. And anywhere where there was a little bit of surface rust, I took it out. I was looking for Bondo. So I kind of dug down. This white color is paint. Probably like heavy primer. I'm not 100% sure. But I didn't find, unless this is like Wimbledon white or something. There's a lot of it on there. It's thick. But it's, there's nothing underneath it. It's right to the bare metal. So anyway, this door may have been stripped, prepped, ready to go on a car. And, got base coats of primer, sandable primer, and then never got finished. Who knows? Anyway, you can see here, I gave it a rough sand. There's no Bondo in this door whatsoever. What I thought was Bondo on the bottom is just paint, built up paint. So I sprayed this end. You can see here, I wanted to show you that I had sanded off all the rust and everything else. I'm going to have to strip it all again when it comes time to doing the body. But for now, this is going to sit on the car for the rest of the winter. So, and to get that rust off it and put a coat of primer on it. So I'm just going to finish off painting here. I'm going to paint the rest of the door. And I've got a sand. I got carried away and I bonded this bottom corner just to cover the seam from the welding. And so I'm going to sand that out right now. Spray the rest of this door and we'll be ready to put it on the car. Okay, sanded her down. Like I said, I only used like 40 grit or something, but sanded her down. That'll do for now. Sanded the whole thing, painted her. She doesn't have any dents or anything in her, so she looks pretty good. Yeah, you get the idea. It's good enough to throw on the car for now. So that I can get it to line up everything. And then, one day it'll come back off and we'll strip all this down and finish it properly. But this will do for now. It'll do for the putting the car together. Yes, that's right. 10 horse restoration. Another door. It's all I do is doors. That's what it seems like lately. There's that one over there all finished. This one here all finished. I could use that one on the car. I'm gonna use this one. I like this one better. It's got less rework in it. Like I said, that one might end up on Marvin. Well, we'll see. Anyway, that's where we're at. I'm gonna call it a night. And first thing tomorrow morning, I'll be headed over to the paddock. Yeah, I got it right. And we'll throw this on and see how our quarter lines up, which will tell us a little bit about our accident. Because I'm starting to wonder if part of the reason they're having issues is that passenger door's missing. Because, well, anyway, I'm not going to speculate. I've speculated enough. I think I know what I need to do to fix it. An important part of the puzzle will get solved tomorrow when this door goes back on. It's going to give us more information. More information helps us get things sorted out. Until then. so that ends episode 19. And I just want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for liking, tagging, sharing, subscribing. Don't forget to subscribe. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I was looking at the numbers the other day, and, you know, we did one short, and all of a sudden we're in the thousands. You know, to see that K, that number, and then that K, it was, it just made things a tiny bit more real. They really did. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks for watching 19. I hope you learned something. You know, I have no, you know, this is a different way to do an ending for me, because usually I show you some highlights of the next video, and that's not happening today, because there's a huge push on to make 20 spectacular, and to be honest, there's so much work to do. That's how I've managed to get through this. I just keep telling everybody how spectacular it's going to be, and then I wake up the next day and go, damn, I better go fix that, because I told everybody it's going to be spectacular. Motivation! That's how you get her done. Get out of there! Alright, so till next time, get off the couch, because you know what? I'm making memories. And I hope you're making memories with me. And get your project finished, eh? Get at her. Okay. Next time.